Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this Hurricane Laura coverage for August 26, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest forecast and best forecast from the Weather Dude, then please, every single one of you that is not subscribed, please click the subscribe and the ring and the notification bell so you guys stay up to date with the latest The Weather Dude content. And also, please watch the whole video. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for 1,000 subscribers. It really does mean a lot to me. And this is taking the next step towards monetization, so please watch the whole video. It really does help out my channel a lot. And also, please give this video a like and share this with your friends. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So today, again, we're going to be talking about Hurricane Laura. It probably will become a Category 4 at some point before landfall. Now, again, I just want to thank you guys real quick again for 1,000 subscribers so much. Actually, if you ring the notification bell, you'll be notified because later today, my pal Jones RMJ and I will actually be doing a 1,000 subscriber special. So if you ring the bell notifications and subscribe, you can stay tuned and you get notified when that premiere or live stream. We're trying to figure out a premiere or live stream, but you'll get notified when it does come out, and I'm really excited for it. So anyway, Hurricane Laura here. Again, 125 mile per hour winds. This is the highest, this is like the strongest Cat 3 you can see, right? Because once you get to 130 miles an hour, then that makes it a Cat 4. So it does now, as of the 11 o'clock update, 125 mile per hour winds and 956 millibars of pressure. The movement, I think, has been staying the same. It might have slowed down ever so slightly, but I think it's staying the same at 16 miles an hour. And it is still moving at a northwest path. So we're still waiting for it to make that northern turn. Now here's the latest track here, and since it's the 11 o'clock major update, we have an update to the track as well. So here's Laura here. You can see the path, the field of hurricane force winds. Then you have your tropical storm force winds in that orange. I'll take a look at the map in a bit, but I think the tropical storm force winds are just starting to arrive to the southeastern part of the Louisiana coastline. I think that orange cone is starting to touch a little bit. So Louisiana may be starting to get some tropical force winds now over the next couple of hours. As you can see, major hurricane, Category 4 potentially. Okay, and then making landfall, hurricane warnings for Texas and Louisiana coastline. And by the way, you'll be able to see the surge went up astronomically. The surge values are just crazy here, but the surge really went up, and I'll be showing you the surge values as well. But still, all the way down up to Human and Grand Isle, we still have tropical storm warnings. Hurricane warnings also include the Galveston Bay area. The arrival time of the tropical storm force winds, most likely at 2 p.m. this afternoon. All right, but I do think that the very southern coast, the southern coast of Louisiana, is starting to get the tropical storm force winds now over the next couple of hours. And you might notice this green part to your right side of your screen. That's because once it makes landfall, the storm will weaken into a depression, move through the mid-Atlantic, and potentially re-strengthen into a post-tropical storm off the coast of the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. So that's something to watch too. Again, mid-Atlantic, Northeast, definitely monitor the storm. And like I said, the orange part is just getting ready to enter Louisiana, but you can see the wind history here. This red means we have had history of hurricane force winds, obviously. It's a Category 3 hurricane, right? So if we zoom in really closely, the tropical storm force winds are not quite there yet, but they're only a few miles away, maybe about 10 miles away from Louisiana. In your orange shade, this is where you have your hurricane force winds, 64 knots plus, all right? And we'll be watching those move even closer. So you go, 145 mile per hour Category 4 with winds gusting well into Category 5 strength. Well into the Category 5 area, I should call it. Right? So 175 mile an hour winds. All you need for a Category 5 is 160. Now keep in mind that's wind gusts. Sustained winds would need to be 160 for it to be a Cat 5. But this could be a 145 mile an hour to 150 mile per hour Category 4 at landfall. Then notice this. This storm is still somewhat of a tropical storm, even as it reaches Little Rock, even well inland. We're talking about around just east of Lufkin, Texas, just west of Alexandria. This is still a strong Category 1 hurricane with winds gusting over 100 miles an hour to Category 2 status. Okay, so you just see the dangers we have here with this storm. Because it's moving decently fast, it's not going to have as much time to weaken. So this will be an inland flood threat. This will be an inland damaging wind threat as well. So some key messages. Okay, one is going to be the storm surge. All right, we could see storm surge 30 miles inland. All right, and that's because of the inlets that connect to the Gulf of Mexico here in Louisiana and Texas. We're going to see hurricane force winds are expected tonight. Tropical storm force winds will begin early this afternoon, maybe in a couple hours. Right now, when I'm recording this video, right now it's actually 5 of 12, so 11:55. So you may see tropical storm force winds, Louisiana, Texas, maybe in a couple hours. Widespread flash flooding, okay, in those small streams, those urban areas, because they can flood pretty easily. Then at the middle Mississippi, lower Ohio, and Tennessee valleys in the major rainfall threat as well. So look at the surge. I was watching go up all morning. We have 13 feet, then 15. Now it's 20 feet, up to 20 feet of storm surge. Okay, and I was just listening to the Louisiana governor say that I think that this time of year, like the tide is actually at its highest. Like it's like the highest tide cycles that we're seeing. So not good, right? At the time it's coming in overnight. All right, so we're talking about from the Johnson Bayou over to Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge, including Calcasieu Lake. I think I'm saying that right. But anyway, from Johnson Bayou over through Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge, 15 to 20 feet of storm surge. Okay, even the Galveston Bay, still 2 to 4 feet of surge, all the way down to Freeport, Texas, 2 to 4 feet of surge. Lake Pontchartrain, still 2 to 4 feet of surge for you guys. Ocean Springs to the mouth of the Mississippi River. Then west of there, back towards Morgan City, 4 to 7 feet of surge. Then between Morgan City and Intracoastal City, still 8 to 12 feet of water rise from the ocean here. All right, so this is very dangerous. And keep in mind, just east of Galveston Bay, from say Port Bolivia to Searim State Park, still 6 to 9 feet of surge just outside of the Galveston Bay. So Galveston Bay may even see a surge upgrade. We'll have to see depending on the track. But look how far inland. All right, 2 to 4 inches of rain all the way through Kentucky here from this, just from Laura itself. All right, even just outside of there, we got north of Memphis, southeastern part of Missouri, all the way down through Arkansas here, at least 4 to 6 inches. Then you go, actually Little Rock itself is under 6 to 10 inches of rainfall. Okay, and even down to the Texas-Louisiana border, down the coast there, potentially rainfall totals passing 10 inches. Then you have the storm surge potentially passing 15 feet. Okay, now it looks like most of the red area, the worst of the rainfall, is staying offshore, but still, well inland, 6 to 10 inches of rain is nothing to joke around with either, especially since we're going to have a lot of water already from the 15 to 20 feet of storm surge. All right, so take a look at the flooding threat here. So here's today. And actually, well, today is actually over on the right side of your screen there. Texas, Louisiana. Then day 2, it's all the way up through Arkansas. It's starting to enter Missouri. Then it's entering the lower Ohio Valley. All right, by day 3. Okay. So again, today, I believe today, yes, today is Wednesday. Okay, so by Friday, over the weekend, it'll be in the Ohio Valley and then moving through the Mid-Atlantic. All right, and again, this storm could potentially re-strengthen off the Mid-Atlantic coast. We'll have to watch that as well. But over 3 days in general, in this red shading, you really need to watch out. This is where we have the highest threat for flash flooding. Also, power outages are going to be a big problem, okay? Because of the wind threat and the rainfall threat in them. Because think about the trees, right? If your power lines are right next to a tree, when the soil is wet, like the rain, we're gonna have so much rain inland and at the coast, and storm surge as well is gonna flood like feet of water inland or just inland from the coast. So when you have the soil that the tree is sitting in, the environment that it's in, it's very wet, the soil is very wet, then the wind comes through and the tree gets blown over very easily. So keep that in mind as well. I actually pulled over a camera, all right, from WeatherBug, and as you can see, this is I-10 and Enterprise Boulevard, and I specifically chose Lake Charles, Louisiana. As you can see, all looks good right now. You can see the traffic there flowing nicely. Skies look pretty good, all right, but keep in mind, it's definitely going to change. Moving over to the top right of your screen, you can see Gulf of Mexico is just south here, right above the CarMax ad there. Thank you for advertising CarMax. All right, and you can see that the river, the inlets, just flow all the way inland, and then they kind of like disperse this way. This is where the surge is going to be moving through. It's going to be moving through all these mini rivers and inlets, and that's how it's going to get several miles inland to potentially areas like DeQuincy, maybe Kinder. All right, so that's why the surge threat is going to be very dangerous. Here's the high resolution model. This is the latest run, but I chose 12Z, which is a very recent run because usually the 6, 12, 18, and 0Z model runs for the HRR model go out 36 hours, which is why I chose this model run. So as you can see, 959 millibars of pressure here. All right, then we head towards 8 o'clock tonight. You can see it's still actually well off the coast, even though the outer bands will actually start heading in through Lake Charles. Maybe see some, maybe combining Laura's moisture with some pop-up storms for places like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. All right, maybe Laura's moisture could be thrown in there, kind of like mixed in. All right, Again, we're not calling for a landfall until 1 a.m. Thursday. And the HRR model actually, if we fast forward here, they don't even call for a landfall until 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. So, like tornadoes, hurricanes are very dangerous overnight. As I said in my last LoRa coverage video, because the atmosphere cools overnight, they get less of storms grow taller, all right, and it allows them to spread out and start spinning more. So that's why hurricanes can grow overnight. So this could become a Category 4 before landfall. So the longer the storm takes to make landfall, the stronger it can become because it is sitting in a very, very favorable environment. So that's allowing the storm to develop a lot. Now, the only good news I can think of is that once it does hit the coast, once it makes landfall, I don't know if it went down, but the shear has been pretty high, but only on land, no, not in the ocean. So the longer it stays in the ocean, the more it can get stronger. But once it heads on shore, there's going to be a lot of shear, and that could help to weaken it. All right, but the land's going to do that anyway. All right, so that might help to tear the storm apart quicker. But keep in mind, the wind shear does not cut down on the rainfall totals. All right, all it does is push the rainfall a certain way, whether it's east, west, north, south, any direction. All right, that's where the shear pushes off those thunderstorms. It does help the storm to fall apart. All right, it can make the winds a little bit weaker, but wind shear does not change the rainfall totals. No, it may move the rainfall totals around to where this location may see the highest amount of rain instead of this location, but it doesn't reduce the rainfall totals. So just keep that in mind. And even through 36 hours, okay, even Thursday morning up to Texas-Louisiana border, okay, and it'll be moving through Arkansas beyond that. Here is 8 p.m. on Thursday. It's starting to move through Little Rock now. You can see the eye wall. All right, still 993 millibars of pressure. This could still be a tropical storm, a 50, 60 mile an hour tropical storm as it heads into Arkansas. Now, looking at the winds, because it's a high resolution model, the NAM will give you the same thing. The max winds only say 84 knots. Obviously, it's a lot more than that. All right, it's more like 105, 110 knots. But you can just see that the storm is going to continue to move inland here, and it's going to produce a lot of wind because again, the stronger the wind is, and the wind's getting stronger, the more surge we're going to be seeing. Since it's going to forecast become a Cat 4 landfall, now we're predicting even more surge. All right. Obviously, now it's up to 15 to 20 feet, but take a look at this. Okay, this is by 2 p.m. Thursday. I'm still seeing some specks of red through Arkansas. That could mean winds still passing 50 miles an hour as this heads into Arkansas. Still gusty winds, 30, 35 miles an hour, well outside of that. So this storm's going to have a big wind field. Now, take a look at this thing on satellite. All right, that was from 9 o'clock this morning. All right. So you can just see how big the storm is, the outflow that we're seeing here. I mean, even I wouldn't say it's a rain band hitting Florida, but that's still a very good looking storm with the outflow here. And take a look at this. All right, this was actually noon, so this is actually right now, I should say. Okay, and then look at this. This is as we head into 20Z, so I believe this is 4 o'clock p.m. Look at this eye. I mean, you can literally see. That's how you can tell it's a good eye on a satellite imagery. You can literally see the gray in the middle of the eye. Okay, this is going to be a beast of a storm. Okay, this is gonna be just as strong as Hurricane Harvey. May not produce as much rain, might produce half or a third of the rain that Harvey produced, but it's still gonna produce double-digit rainfall potentially in some spots. All right, and let's let this animate here. And again, your landfall is right there. Okay, so again, between 2 and 3 o'clock is what the HRR is calling for. 2 to 3 a.m. Thursday morning. We were anticipating the landfall before was going to be tonight. All right, but since it's taking longer, this might make the storm a little stronger. But look at the eye. It just doesn't stop. Look at the eye. This is 8 a.m. Thursday. That eye is still very well defined. A nice Category 1 hurricane in through inland Louisiana. And the inland threat is going to be a big issue as well. Look at this. We still have an eye. It's starting to break apart a little bit, but we still have a big eye. It's pretty clear. All right. This is by, I believe, yes, 1 p.m. on Thursday. Still very heavy rain. That's an issue as well. Lingering down through Louisiana. A lot of colder cloud tops. Then the eye might start falling apart because now it becomes a tropical storm. But, I mean, you can just see the outflow in your eye wall here and your center of the storm be right here. So, this will be a very strong storm well inland. This isn't going to fall apart as soon as it hits land, even though there is a little bit of wind shear on shore. Looking at the eye, it's having a little trouble. I think in the last frames, we're starting to see the eye develop a little bit more. There you go. You can kind of see it here, a little gray right at the end before it starts clocking again. You can see a little gray form. That means you can see down to the surface that the eye is becoming even more well-defined. Some of these strong hurricanes go through what's called an Iowa replacement cycle. I believe Florence went through something like that in 2018, but it's just a brief temporary weakening, then it gets its strength back together. This may not go through that, so it might just keep getting stronger and stronger. And as you can just see that northern Iowa right there, even the southern and eastern part looks pretty strong as well. So two sides of the storm that are very dynamic and very strong. So stay alert. Again, I've been saying to keep giving you guys the same advice. Stay alert, stay safe, and stay vigilant, especially if you live from anywhere from Freeport, Texas, Galveston, Texas, Lake Charles, all the way through Huma and New Orleans, and points north, inland. Inland locations have to watch out as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am Joe Dude, signing off. Till next time, catch you guys in the next video.